Hey folks, Jim McCallum here with Our Hometown. Many of our viewers will not know that ATMC extends heavily into Columbus County. So we're here in Columbus County here today. We're visiting the Chef and the Frog, which is a wonderful restaurant here. We'll interview the co-owner there. And following that, we'll go to Southeastern Community College and visit with Dr. English, who is the president there. So stay with us as we explore our hometown. We are here with Guillaume Salama. How did I say the name, Guillaume?
Guillaume, that's perfect.
Guillaume?
It's very good.
Okay.
Yeah, Guillaume. Like remember Guy? Can you say Om?
I like that.
Okay, Guillaume.
We're here at the Chef and the Frog. Absolutely a unique restaurant here in Whiteville, North Carolina. And you are, along with your wife, are the owner of this wonderful restaurant.
That's correct. She really owns it. I'm just married to her.
I completely understand. Nonetheless, it's a pleasure to have you on our show and to talk about several stories that relate to your background, but also your restaurant. You're French.
More or less.
And you've been here in the States for quite some time.
Yes, sir.
Your wife is Cambodian?
That is correct.
Am I right?
That is correct.
Are both of you the chefs? She's the chef?
Oh, she's the chef. I'm the frog.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then I have to ask you, how did you get the name The Frog?
Well, you know, there's bad names for people from elsewhere, and the Brits love to call French people frogs for some reason. It dates back from the war between the English and the French.
I'm glad I asked that
Yeah,
question.
so it's not necessarily a nice term, but since I'm the one picking it, you know, it's okay.
You've been here several years.
Oh my gosh, yes, 12 years.
Here in Whiteville?
In Whiteville for 12 years.
No kidding. I did not know that. Okay. You lived in Atlanta for quite some time, am I
Yes,
right?
sir. Yes, sir.
Tell our viewers about your business operations in Atlanta. They were considerable, were they not?
So not in Atlanta. In Atlanta, I worked in an engineering firm, and I was a project manager for them. Worked mostly with computers and scheduling things and all that. But after a while, my wife and I wanted to do something different. And so we opened our first restaurant outside of Athens, Georgia, in a place called Washington, Georgia. And that's where we were. Mm-hmm. And we were there for 3.5 years. So what happened is, you know, we opened a bed and breakfast with a restaurant downstairs. So we had rooms upstairs, restaurant downstairs. And it worked very well. She earned 4 diamonds from AAA the very first year she was in business.
Wow.
Big deal. She got into Southern living. Big deal. We did very, very well. So then the owners of the hotel that was on the square approached us, and they said, well, you're doing well. Would you like to manage the hotel? And the hotel came with a restaurant as well.
Okay.
And so we agreed to that. And then we opened a little coffee shop outside the hotel called Sophie's. And then we opened a little...
You continued to grow.
Yeah,
Wow.
and because business was really good. And we figured, you know, hey, if things keep going like this and they keep going well like this, in 10 years, we'll be sitting pretty. Because, you know, all the loans will be paid for, everything will be paid, and we'll just get income. And we thought it was a great business model. But what we didn't know is that the world was about to change, because all I'm telling you happened between 2006 and 2008. And as we know, in 2008,
the world did change, right?
Yeah, it took a turn for the worse. And just as quickly as we acquired things, we lost them back to the bank, or you know, we had to let them go. And that put us into a bind, and we didn't know what to do. And the only business offer we had at the time was a guy here in Whiteville, North Carolina, who said, hey, I have a restaurant and I need someone to manage it. Would you be interested?
Now, how did you meet that individual?
He came to our hotel, actually, and was staying with us. And this is a funny story. I don't know if we have time for it, but my wife had a special for lunch that day, which was a very simple Southern-style fried catfish sandwich. And the gentleman, his name was Jesse Fisher, ate the catfish sandwich and fell in love with it because it brought back memories to him and whatever.
Sure.
And he said, "Oh, this is the best catfish fried. I mean, a fried catfish sandwich I ever ate. I want to meet the cook and I want to thank her." And we said, "Okay, fine." So I went into the kitchen and I talked to my wife, Sokun, and I said, "Sokun, someone wants to see you out there." And she's like, "Oh, what did I do wrong now?" And I said, "Nothing. It's all good. He just wants to thank you." And so she said, "Okay." So she goes out to the table and she says, "Sir, how can I help you?" And he looks at her, and you've got to realize my wife is 4'11", about 95 pounds, very thin. She's very small. She's Asian, so she looks very young, but she's Asian. So she's like, "Well, how can I help you?" And he says, "Well, can you please tell the cook I would like to meet her and thank her?" And so she says, "I'm sorry, how can I help you?" And he says, "No, really, it won't take very long. Just try to get her out of the kitchen for a minute if she can." And she finally goes like this, and she says, "So how can I help you?" And it dawned on him all of a sudden. He was like, "You cooked my catfish?" And she says, "Yes, I'm the chef. I do everything. There's only me. There's nobody else in the kitchen."
What a great story. I want to hear the rest of it.
Right. So he obviously was very happy and made us a business offer. He told us years later, maybe 5 years later, that he was expecting a black Southern woman to come out of that kitchen because it was such a wonderful, sandwich. But he basically made us a pitch at that time, and he was very persistent. He said, "I've got this restaurant, and it's in this little town called Whiteville." And we said, "Where is Whiteville?"
You'd never heard of it?
Never heard of Whiteville.
Of course. Yeah.
Of course. It was a very small town in North Carolina, and we were in a very small town in Georgia, and we're from France and Cambodia. We had never heard of Whiteville. And he said this. He said, "It's near the ocean. Come for the weekend. I'll put you up."
That's great.
So we drove. We came to see him. And we never saw the ocean.
Right.
We saw Lake Waccamaw. It's very
Sure.
beautiful. It's very, very beautiful.
Very nice.
But we never saw the ocean. But we saw the restaurant, which was across the street from this current location. And we took the bait, and we agreed to the deal. And we started painting and changing the place. We worked 6 days from sunup to sundown in Georgia, and then the 7th day we drove 5.5 hours, came here, worked for about 10 or 12 hours, and then drove back and worked another 6 days. We did that for about 9 weeks.
To make the transition.
To make the transition, because we didn't have any money, we didn't have anything.
Sure.
We had just lost pretty much everything we owned, and we're trying to hang on to whatever left we had there. And we opened up finally on September 23rd. But there's another funny story with that. When we were almost done with the restaurant, we went upstairs to Jesse's office. It was located upstairs above the restaurant. And we said, "Jesse, we've painted everything. We've got the menu. This is it." He looks at it. He's like, "Yeah, that looks great." He says, "I really like the decor. I like what you've done." I said, "Great." I said, "Well, so here are some ideas." I said, "I have some logos that I would like to submit to you, different names I'm thinking." And he says, "Oh, about that, I forgot to mention something." And bells start going off in my head, and I'm like, what is it? And he says, "Yeah, you can do anything you like with the building, the food and the decor, and that's all on you." He said, "But you cannot change the name on the building." And the name of the restaurant was called the Southern Kitchen.
Oh.
Right. So here we are doing, filet mignons and sea bass and fresh food in a place called the Southern Kitchen. So people would come in or call us and say, "What's on the buffet today?" Because Southern Kitchen,
Sure.
people think Southern food buffet, which there's nothing wrong with that. It just was not what we were doing. And then, of course, other people like you or some other people would not come in because they would look into Whiteville and be like, "Oh."
So it was named that for some period of time.
Since 1947.
But was it named that during your tenure?
So we had to keep. We could not change the name.
Kept the name.
He would not let us change it
For quite some time.
So we kept it for 5.5 years, and so after about 2-3 years, business being very, very good, we were able to secure financing and buy the 2 buildings across the street, which is where we are currently located. Then it took us another 3 years to get financing for the repairs and the building upgrades so that we could actually have a restaurant here. There was absolutely nothing here. It was just a shell.
Sure. It was an old storefront.
It was, the two buildings were called Collier's Furniture Store.
Okay.
It was a furniture and appliance store here in the 80s, 70s and 80s, I believe. And so it was just a shell, really. They did some repairs in the back, so there was one bathroom, like one toilet in a corner.
So when did you get the name, the Chef and the Frog?
So we got that as we were doing the work. I'm meeting with my investors, and one of them is like, well, you know, you need to find a name that's really simple and that's really going to be, you know, something
Catchy.
that people can remember, something catchy. And he says, you know, you need to name it after you. And I'm like, well, Guillaume and Sokun, no one is going to remember that, you know. And they say, no, she's the chef and you're just a damn frog. So just call it something like that. And I say, the Chef and the
voila,
Frog, that would work. Exactly.
Yeah.
That's perfect.
That's great.
Yes, and you can bleep that comment right there.
Tell our viewers about your menu and about the food offerings that you have on a regular basis.
Okay, so we serve lunch 4 times a week from Tuesday through Friday. And lunch is going to have some lighter fares just because, you know, most people don't have that much time for lunch in Whiteville, you know. But we still get quite a few travelers and people that come in and enjoy our lunch and make an event out of it. So we have salads, we have burgers, quesadillas, we have some lighter things. We have beautiful crab cakes, we have fried green tomatoes, which those are southern things. We also have Cambodian things like we have Cambodian egg rolls, which are absolutely delicate and beautiful. Nothing like your Chinese egg rolls, okay? It's very, very, very different. Then we have a Cambodian beef, we have a pad thai for lunch, which is really wonderful. We have a few French things as well. Yeah, we have an onion soup, and we have different dishes that are really very French. Price range for lunch, you know, it's not very much. It's anywhere between 10 and 15 bucks. It's not gonna break the bank. And then for dinner, which we do Thursday through Saturday, which, by the way, please make a reservation and call us before you come because we are so busy. I would hate for you to come in and not be able to come in. But we do, of course, heavier dishes. And there again, you know, we'll have some Cambodian items and we'll have some French items there too. We'll have a beef bourguignon for the French side. We'll have steaks. We'll have, so for the steaks, we have filet mignon and ribeyes, but we also have butcher cuts, which is something we started to do not too long ago. And those butcher cuts are the best quality you can get. So we have prime, we have dry age, and we have Wagyu steaks. And the Wagyu steaks, we have A3 and A5.
Are there any particular offerings for which you've become really well known?
Yeah, so all of it.
Great.
Because this menu is 12 years old now. I mean, it's what I'm saying is we have been tweaking this menu for 12 years. We have removed items and added things, and as people really enjoyed those things, we kept them on the menu. So the menu we currently have is pretty much everybody's favorites for the last 12 years.
I see.
Right, but we are really, really well known for the Cambodian beef. Naturally, this is something that we do here. And now the word has been spreading about our Wagyu steaks. So.
And you travel near and far for fresh sources.
Oh, we never stop.
Yeah.
We never stop. Yeah, we
part of which makes a great restaurant.
Well, yeah, possibly, but I wish it were simple. See, we did not go into the restaurant business coming from the industry. As I said, I came from an engineering background, and my wife was actually in gemology. We're doing this because it's a passion for us.
Sure.
And because of that, we never were trained properly, I guess, to cut corners or do better with less. So we drive hours to find the perfect ingredients, to find the perfect source for something, and we spend a long time just trying out. Yes, we just found a new source of hydroponic greens,
sure.
And they're absolutely wonderful. They're great. It's in Wilmington. It's
good. Relatively close.
Relatively close, but that means
Yeah.
we have to go and get them once a week.
Sure.
And but they're so tasty and fresh and organic, of course, and very delicious.
Yeah, as you know, my wife and I were here a few weeks ago. We had a wonderful meal.
Thank you.
I hope our viewers will take advantage of coming to Whiteville, North Carolina, to see your restaurant, the Chef and the Frog.
Yeah.
Again, thank you
Oh,
so
thank
much for
you.
being with us.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Oh, there was a big need for better internet in the area. We were running on 6 megs, and we sell real estate. The kids were doing virtual school, and basically to connect with the outside world, you really needed to be a part of the internet, and so everybody took turns. It's great that a local company like Atlantic Telephone come out and service the rural community. Normally they've been closer into the suburbs, but to see them stretch out and have confidence in the community and provide us with what we need is really an excellent thing that we're all very appreciative for.
Folks, we're here on the campus of the beautiful Southeastern Community College. My guest is Dr. Chris English. He's the president of this fine little school.
That's right.
And I want to thank you for being with us today.
Well, thank you for having me here. It's an exciting time for me in this college, so thank you.
Absolutely. You've got a great story to tell, but the college has a great story to tell. And I'd like to touch on both of those here for the next few minutes.
Sure, yeah, absolutely. That's
All right.
great.
You're new here.
That's right. Not long, maybe 8 months.
But new is good.
Yeah, that's right. New's a good thing.
But you've been the president here since last August?
That's
am I
correct. August 3rd was my first day.
right? COVID's a tough time to make a transition,
It's
don't you
crazy,
think?
right? I have had that question a lot. Are you crazy taking it during pandemic? And I guess the answer is yes, but it's a
Well,
good thing.
obviously it's working out well. Tell our viewers a little bit about your background, because you do have a great story as to how you got here.
Sure. So I do. I have an interesting story. What a lot of people are surprised to learn is that I'm a mechanic by trade.
Actually, it's a great story.
Yeah,
I really like it.
It is a good story. I grew up in a gas station. My dad had a garage, body shop. Had started out with a few wreckers and tow trucks, and I went to school for General Motors. Thought I would be a mechanic. And work on cars for the rest of my life. And did that job for 12 years. I actually went back to work with my father for about 12 years, and he decided that he wanted to retire. And with my dad in the business that he had at that time, with 12 trucks, huge body shop, mechanic business, it was really big for the
Sure,
area. I'm
absolutely.
originally from Hendersonville,
Right.
North Carolina, so for that area, that was pretty big. And he wanted to retire, and so he asked me if I wanted to buy the business, but he would, would continue to work. But he also had a couple of investors,
Sure.
and it was his time to retire, and I didn't want to hold him up. So in 1999, I was very fortunate to meet and know Dave Sink, who actually gave me my start.
And a lot of us
teaching.
in Brunswick County know Dave Sink.
I'm sure you do. He is a character. He's a great fella. He sure did inspire me, and gave me the opportunity to teach. And I went to teach automotive systems at Blue Ridge Community College. And my career was 20 years at Blue Ridge before coming here to Southeastern. But worked my
along the
way up. Yeah, I taught automotive for 10 years. I went to the system office in Raleigh and worked for a couple of years for transportation development. And that's where I got into economic and workforce development, and saw my career start to change. And so I went back to school. And when I was a mechanic, I had my associate degree. I never thought I'd be moving forward to get a doctorate.
Where did you get your bachelor, master's, and PhD?
Kind of interesting story on that. So I got my associate's degree at Greenville Technical College in Greenville, South Carolina.
Sure.
It was a GM program. Dave Sink, while he was president at Blue Ridge Community College, offered us a deal where he'd pay for some classes if we wanted to go back and get our education. And I did. But I went back to Penn State's, one of Penn State schools. It's called Penn College, Pennsylvania College.
Sure.
And got it in automotive management. And it was all online. And that moved me into my master's degree, which was online at New Mexico State University.
Okay.
At the time, I'd planned on going to Western Carolina, but they had shut their program down to retool it. And I knew I wanted to get my degree. So that was about 2011, 2012. So my master's come from New Mexico State University in educational administration. And then I went back to school. At that time, Western started their program back, and I went to Western Carolina University for my doctorate.
So Western did work
in
out.
educational leadership. Yeah, so I've got all 4 degrees and have found my way to a presidency here at Southeastern Community College. From mechanic to president of a college, kind of a crazy story.
No, it's a great story, and I'd like to spend some more time on it, except for the fact that the story here at the college is equally
that's right.
compelling.
That's right.
This beautiful campus has 250 plus acres.
That's right.
Unless you've been here, you might not know that.
Yeah, it's one of the largest campuses. You know, small. It's a small college for such a big campus. You know, it's one of those in North Carolina out of the 58, and a lot of opportunity here. A lot of opportunity for this college.
It was organized pretty early on in the 60s.
That's right. That's right.
And as in the little bit that I've studied, it was at that time intended to be a regional college, because thus the name Southeastern.
That's right. And I'll tell you, was and still is the crown jewel of the Southeast. And that's what this college was known as, and that's what we're going to continue to recognize Southeastern as.
It's a great term.
The crown jewel of the Southeast, because it was that regional college. It really was.
Right, right. And of course, since the 60s, it's grown dramatically.
Oh, yeah.
And it serves not only Columbus County, but for miles around.
That's right. It does. It does.
Tell our viewers about your student body. What's the size of your school?
Size of our school is about 1,500 roughly of curriculum students, because we have curriculum and continuing education.
Mm-hmm.
We have about 6,000 continuing education students. And of course, those are short term. They come and go, where the degree seeking students are more here for year to 2 years, seeking that either certificate, diploma, or degree. Mm-hmm. And so we got 28 programs that we offer, but we want to grow that area. We know that this college is situated with the county to really bring the workforce in and develop and upskill a workforce that we have. And so we're going to position the college to provide for workforce training.
One of our producers mentioned that you have a great program in television or communication.
That's right. We got a broadcasting production technology program.
That's what I was grasping for. Yeah.
Yeah, we sure do. It's been well supported in the past by local TV stations, and we've had students that go through it. Now on the campus, we have our early college and our career academy, Columbus College and Career Academy. CCCA, and they have a production technology program. So it's a good partnership, it's a good marriage, and so yes, it's right here on the campus.
What are a couple of unique things that I might not know or others might not know about this beautiful campus and the programs that you have here? Just a couple of unusual hidden gems.
It's probably not a hidden gem, but it's something that the college is well known for, is the nursing program.
Good.
We have really started to upgrade that nursing area. We want to continue to upgrade that nursing area. They partner very well with our local hospitals, and we want to continue on with that partnership. Our nursing program is flourishing and moving forward.
Good.
Something new that we've added in, and this was a prior president and leadership, with the installation of our Advanced Manufacturing Training Center. The college did not have that in the past, and so this is really a means to attract those industries to the county to give them place.
Translate that and tell someone like me what that means.
It means basically it houses our engineering programs, it houses our computer integrated machining programs, things that for metals, any electronics, any metals or mechanical devices that people would need to learn, robotics, all for industry specific.
Really well-paying jobs.
Very well-paying jobs, yes, and they're immediate jobs. It's like nursing. There are jobs that are out there and available.
Students out there, take a listen.
Yeah, that's exactly right. That's
right.
Welding. You can make. Their welders make 6 figures.
Absolutely.
They're needed. Machinists are the same way. So that's why that manufacturing center is there, is to really to attract and upskill the workforce that we have.
Yeah. We talked about your vision and the college's vision about where you want to go in the year, 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 down the road.
Sure.
Let's speak to our viewers about that.
Yeah, we know that we're situated to really build a workforce in Columbus County, and that's what we want to do. And we're moving to a one college model. And what I mean by that is we want to treat a student as a student is a student. Any student walks through this door, we should be meeting their needs. We should meet them where they are and take them as far as they can go. That goes for the community as well. So we're going to situate our programming and the things that we offer under a one college model, where both our short-term workforce training for an individual that may be already in a job can mix and combine with the curriculum degree-seeking students. Because those individuals who may already be working may be looking to accelerate and move on into a degree, much like what I did.
I can see some advantages to that. What do you think?
Advantage is that if a person is placed into in a job, in a position, and if they're there for a year or 2 years and they want to move up into a supervisorial role and they need education, the short-term credit that they've taken in the past, they're not going to lose. We're going to transfer and roll that into a curriculum program.
I see.
So they don't lose that credit.
That makes sense, thus the one college
The one college
concept.
model. That's right.
Okay.
That's right.
Wonderful. Let's talk about athletics.
Oh, yeah. Love athletics.
At least for me, sports is part of my life.
There you go.
And I'd miss it if I weren't either participating or following teams.
Right.
Talk about the sports here at the college.
Sure, we have a great athletic program. We have baseball and we have softball.
Right.
We just launched our SEC Boosters Club. And so if you want to join the Boosters Club, join the Boosters Club.
Now's the time.
Now's the time. We're excited to be moving forward with this. But, we have a great complex that we want to expand on and really grow our area. We'd love to see this college be situated even more as a hub for Columbus County, and being able to offer additional athletic sports and things to the community. But we have a robust athletic program. We're excited about it.
That's great. There are students watching this show that may think to themselves, I'd love to be there, but I can't get a scholarship.
Oh yeah, we got a great scholarship
Let's talk
program.
about scholarship programs, and before we do, I'll just offer this opinion of my own. Sometimes a few $100s, $500 scholarship can make a difference between a student being able to attend or not attend.
That's right.
Sometimes just having gas money. Talk about that for a second. These are not $50,000 scholarships, but
Right.
they're small but critical.
That's exactly right. Well, I would have to say, we have a robust foundation that supports the college and that supports the scholarships. We have a success scholarship that allows students to apply for that after they've met the Pell or the federal funding and whatever they may or may not get.
Right.
They can get this funding that allows them for basically free tuition, and that's upon graduation, high school graduation. Let me clear that up. They have to be immediately graduating high school.
Of course.
But even if it's an older adult, let's say it's 25 years old, there are a lot of scholarships offered through the foundation that are $200, $1,000, $1,500.
That's what we want these prospective students to know.
That's right.
They can be here.
They can be here. There's funding for them to be here. There's additional funding for them to be here just because of the pandemic can provide for a funding source for them. So, there's opportunity to come back to school and be able to pay for it. And we're going to help you find a way to pay for that school, even down to the books and the fees.
Sure. It's great to know that you and your staff and your board, your trustees, all join in that commitment.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Dr. Chris English, thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
It's a great story.
Thank you.
We
I
appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks. Folks, thanks for joining us on Our Hometown. If you have a great story that might be of interest to us, be in touch with us at atmctv.com. Thanks again. Join us soon on Our Hometown.
We had satellite internet previously. It was quite a hassle when trying to book loads, trying to send documentation, trying to basically just communicate back and forth through emails. When you're trying to book loads, someone could easily swoop right in before you. If I'm taking 5-10 minutes to load a page, they can swoop in, book that job, and they're on the road before I can ever even make a contact. We knew when we moved rural it was probably going to be a struggle to find a solid internet connection, and then ATMC came and they were telling us about their services, advertising and everything, so we said, hey, we got to call this. We got to have it. Being out here in a more rural area, speeds like that are unheard of, so to see that speed, it's exciting. Know that I'll have that now, so with my business, I'm not gonna have to worry about, I gotta go up the road and try to send this email on my phone or something. Be able to do it all right here in-house. Definitely ATMC would be the only way. That's it. That's all there is to it.